Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift, as if people were subtly distancing themselves from you? It's easy to assume it's just in your head, but sometimes certain habits can unknowingly make others look down on you. Even minor behaviors can send the wrong message, creating barriers in relationships, work, or even with friends. The truth is that we all carry habits that push others away, often without realizing it. This article reveals 7 common yet damaging habits that instantly make people lose respect. From gossiping to playing the victim, we'll dive deep into behaviors that might hold you back and, more importantly, how to change them. Curious if you're guilty of any of these? Don't worry, we've all been there. But here's the good news. With a bit of awareness and effort, you can transform how others perceive you and even boost your self-esteem. You're in the right place if you're ready to look at these habits and make a positive shift. And hey, if you find this insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us for more honest, self-improving content. Let's get started. 1. Gossiping. Let's face it, gossiping can be hard to resist. Sharing the latest scoop on someone else's life often feels like a way to bond with others, but there's a hidden cost. When you start dishing out details about someone behind their back, people wonder, what do they say about me when I'm not around? Gossip, no matter how harmless it seems, erodes trust. I used to think gossip was a way to seem fun and connected. It felt like a secret handshake into a closer relationship. But what I didn't realize was that I was creating distance. People started keeping conversations with me shallow. They didn't trust me with anything important because they feared I'd turn their personal stories into the next big topic. I knew everything about everyone, but was left with no real, meaningful friendships. And it wasn't just about how others saw me. Gossip became a distraction, a way to avoid dealing with my problems. Instead of looking at what I needed to work on, I was busy pointing out everyone else's flaws. Here's the hard truth. Gossip isn't just nasty for your relationships, it's terrible for you. It pulls you into a cycle of negativity, making you more insecure and less focused on self-improvement. If you want genuine, deep connections, you have to let go of gossip as a way to relate to others. Instead of spreading rumors or bad-mouthing someone, challenge yourself to rise above it. The next time someone tries to pull you into gossip, just say, "No thanks, I'm good." You'll be surprised how quickly people begin to respect you. Trust me, I've been on both sides. Choosing to shut down gossip instead of spreading it is powerful. It sets a standard not only for how others treat you but also for how you see yourself. So let's leave the gossiping behind. It's a dead-end road. Focus on your growth and let others handle their mess. You'll find that respect follows. 2. Never taking responsibility. Blaming everything and everyone but yourself may feel like an easy escape. Still, it only holds you back in the long run, whether missing a deadline because the Wi-Fi was down or failing a test because the teacher was unfair. Constantly shifting responsibility signals to others that you're unreliable. More importantly, it blocks your personal growth. I used to be a master at making excuses. Whenever something went wrong, I always had a reason to place the blame on anything but myself. It felt safer that way. If it wasn't my fault, I didn't have to feel guilty or incompetent. But here's the reality I eventually faced. Every time I dodged responsibility, I robbed myself of an opportunity to improve. I wasn't learning from my mistakes because I refused to admit they were mine. Owning your mistakes is tough. It makes you feel vulnerable and exposed. But when you avoid taking responsibility, you give up control over your life. If everything is always someone else's fault, you never have the power to change anything. You're stuck, trapped in a cycle of blame and excuses. The turning point for me was realizing that taking responsibility isn't about admitting failure, but giving yourself a chance to grow. Once you start owning up to your actions, people will respect you more because accountability is a sign of maturity. Even more, you'll begin to trust yourself, knowing that you can learn from your errors and do better next time. So, pause next time you're tempted to blame the circumstances or someone else for your shortcomings. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently? How can I improve moving forward? Embracing responsibility is empowering. It gives you control over your life and decisions. And trust me, the people around you will notice and appreciate it. After all, no one expects perfection, but they do expect honesty and accountability. 3. Lack of basic hygiene. It might sound obvious, but basic hygiene is a non-negotiable part of how others perceive you. Neglecting doesn't just make you physically unpleasant to be around. It also sends a message that you don't care about yourself or others. And let's be honest, people notice. I'll admit, there was a time when I didn't see the big deal. I thought skipping a shower here and there or ignoring deodorant wasn't a problem as long as I didn't feel dirty. But I was wrong. It wasn't until someone awkwardly pointed it out that I realized how much it mattered. Nothing compares to the embarrassment of being told you smell to wake you up to reality. But it goes beyond just smelling good. Keeping up with basic hygiene, like showering, brushing your teeth, and wearing clean clothes, shows you respect yourself and the people around you. When people see that you can't even manage the simple task of staying clean, they might question your reliability in other areas of life. It's not fair, but that's how people think. And here's the deeper issue. Sometimes, neglecting hygiene is a symptom of something bigger: burnout, depression, or low self-esteem. I went through a period of stress where I barely took care of myself. It wasn't just that I didn't have time. I had lost the motivation. And when you let your hygiene slip, it's easy for other parts of your life to spiral too. It becomes a cycle of neglect that's hard to break. The good news? Small changes can make a big difference. Taking care of your hygiene is one of the simplest ways to boost your mood and regain control. When you're clean, fresh, and put together, you feel better about yourself, and others start treating you differently. You project confidence and self-respect. So, if you've been letting your hygiene slip, take it as a sign to get back on track. A shower, some deodorant, and clean clothes might seem minor, but they can be the first step toward improving your mindset and how others see you. Trust me, your self-esteem and the people around you will thank you. 4. Being passive-aggressive. Passive-aggressive behavior might seem like a clever way to avoid direct conflict, but it's one of the fastest ways to frustrate and alienate people. You know the drill, saying "I'm fine" when you're upset or dropping sarcastic comments instead of addressing an issue head-on. It feels like you're getting your point across without confrontation, but you're making things worse. Being aggressive was an intelligent way to handle problems. If I didn't openly confront someone, I could avoid a messy argument while letting them know I was upset. I'd send off a sarcastic text or give someone the silent treatment, expecting them to figure out what was wrong. But surprise, no one ever did. Instead of getting the response I wanted, I looked immature and difficult to handle. Here's the thing. People aren't mind readers. Expecting them to pick up on your subtle hints and hidden frustrations is unfair and only leads to more confusion. Worse yet, being passive-aggressive makes you seem manipulative, immature, and unwilling to communicate like an adult. It's exhausting for everyone involved, both for the person trying to guess what's wrong and for you, carrying all that bottled-up frustration. The truth is that passive aggression is a defense mechanism to shield yourself from vulnerability, but it doesn't solve anything. If you want healthier relationships and more respect, you must step up and say what's on your mind, even when it's uncomfortable. It's scary at first, but honesty always pays off. People respect openness. More importantly, you'll respect yourself for having the courage to speak up. So next time you catch yourself firing off that passive-aggressive comment or giving someone the cold shoulder, stop. Do you want to keep playing this emotional game, or are you ready to face the issue directly? You'll find that honest communication brings clarity and builds trust even when challenging. Passive aggression, on the other hand, only keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration. 5. Being chronically late. We all know someone who's always late, whether to meetings, appointments, or casual hangouts. They're never on time. And if you don't know anyone like that, it might be you. Being late might seem like a minor quirk, but it sends a clear message over time. My time is more important than yours. I used to be that person. I'd tell people I was 5 minutes away when I hadn't even left the house yet. I thought it wasn't a big deal. It was just my way of running on my schedule. But what I didn't realize was how inconsiderate it was. One day, a friend pointed out that my constant lateness wasn't just about lousy time management. It was about disrespect. It made them feel like their time didn't matter to me. That hit hard. People start to see you as unreliable and disrespectful when you're always late. Whether for a job interview or just meeting friends for dinner, your tardiness signals that you can't be trusted to show up on time. And it's not just about missing a few minutes. It creates frustration and lowers others' expectations of you. Being chronically late often stems from deeper issues, too. Sometimes it's about avoidance. You're not excited about where you're headed, so you drag your feet. Other times, it's a lack of self-discipline or poor planning. Whatever the reason, lateness tells others you aren't fully present or committed to the moment. The good news is that it's a habit you can change. Start by being more honest with yourself. Plan ahead if you know it takes longer to get ready or travel. Set reminders, leave earlier than you think you need to, and make punctuality a priority. You'll be surprised at how much more smoothly things run when you stop rushing and start respecting your own time and others. In the end, being on time is more than just a courtesy. It's about showing up for life, your commitments, and the people around you. The more you value time, the more others will value you. Trust me, being reliable and punctual will change how people see you in ways far beyond the clock. 6. Playing the victim. We've all met someone who constantly plays the victim as if life is always conspiring against them. No matter the situation, it's never their fault. Things keep happening to them. And while it may seem like they're just unlucky, this mindset is a surefire way to push others away and stunt personal growth. I'll admit I used to fall into this trap too. When something went wrong, at work, in relationships, or in life, I was quick to point fingers at everyone but myself. Why does this always happen to me? Became my default response. But one day, a close friend gave me a much-needed reality check. Have you ever thought about what you might be doing to contribute to these situations? It stung, but it was the wake-up call I needed. The truth is, playing the victim might feel more accessible in the short term, but it's incredibly disempowering. When you're always blaming others or external factors, you're giving away your power to change anything. You stay stuck in a cycle of helplessness, never looking for ways to improve or grow. People start to see you as someone who lacks accountability, and eventually, they get tired of the constant complaints. Taking responsibility for your role in life's challenges is tough. It forces you to look in the mirror and admit that you may handle things differently. But that's where real empowerment begins. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as an active participant in your life, everything changes. You regain control, and instead of waiting for life to improve, you take steps to improve it. So, the next time you catch yourself slipping into that "why me" mentality, pause and ask, what can I do about this? Shifting your mindset from helplessness to action doesn't just improve your life. It transforms how others see you. People respect those who take ownership of their lives, and you'll find that solutions and opportunities appear where there were only problems once. Ultimately, you have a choice. Stay stuck in the victim role or step into the driver's seat of your own life. Choose the latter, and you'll find yourself gaining respect from others and a newfound respect for yourself. 7. Constant complaining. We all know that person who always seems to have something to complain about, no matter the situation. Whether they're griping about the weather, the coffee, or their job, It's as if they can't go 5 minutes without pointing out something negative. And if you don't know anyone like that, it might be you. I used to be a chronic complainer. It initially felt harmless, like venting out frustrations to relieve some stress. But then a friend told me straight up, "You complain more than anyone I know." That comment stung, making me realize how exhausting I must have been for everyone around me. Complaining may feel good, but it creates a dark cloud that people start avoiding over time. Here's the problem. The more you complain, the more negativity you attract. It's like training your brain to only focus on what's wrong, ignoring the good things in life. And when you're always pointing out the flaws, people start to see you as someone who's never satisfied, a constant source of negativity. It's draining for them, and honestly, it's draining for you too. But here's a critical insight. Complaining is often a mask for deeper feelings of stress, overwhelm, or lack of control. When I was in my complaining phase, it wasn't really about the bad coffee or annoying traffic. I was frustrated with more significant issues in my life, and instead of facing them, I was using minor complaints to let out steam. But that didn't solve anything. It only amplified my negative mindset. The solution? Shift your focus. Instead of complaining about everything wrong, ask yourself, how can I fix it? And if you can't fix it, let it go. Easier said than done, right? But the more you practice it, the more you'll notice how your perspective changes. Gratitude, not complaining, is the antidote to negativity. In the end, life will always throw challenges your way, but constantly complaining about them only complicates things. People respect those who find solutions instead of fixating on problems. And trust me, when you stop complaining, you'll feel lighter, and others will be much happier around you. It's a win-win. Conclusion. We've just walked through 7 everyday habits that can quietly undermine your relationships, damage your reputation, and hold you back from being the best version of yourself. Whether it's gossiping, being passive-aggressive, avoiding responsibility, neglecting basic hygiene, constantly complaining, showing up late, or playing the victim, each of these behaviors sends a message, one that ultimately works against you. The good news? Every single one of these habits can be changed with awareness and effort. You don't need to be perfect, but small steps towards self-improvement can make a huge difference in how others see you and how you see yourself. It starts with taking responsibility for your actions, communicating openly, and respecting yourself and others. Life is too short to let these habits hold you back. So here's your challenge. Pick one habit you recognize in yourself and commit to changing it this week. Maybe it's owning up to a mistake instead of making excuses, or showing up on time to show that you respect other people's time. Even the slightest change can have a powerful ripple effect on your relationships, confidence, and how you appear in the world. And if this video gave you something to think about, hit that subscribe button for more insights and tips on how to level up your life. Share this video with someone who might need a little nudge. Remember, we're all on this journey together. Nobody's perfect, but we can all make progress. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.